It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage in calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion, like I recently stated on social media.
Nicki Minaj spoke at the United Nations, and yeah, that's a factual statement in 2025.
Religious freedom means we all can sing our faith regardless of who we are, where we live, and what we believe. But today, faith is under attack in way too many places. In Nigeria, Christians are being targeted, driven from their homes, and killed. Churches have been burned. Families have been torn apart, and entire communities live in fear constantly, simply because of how they pray. Sadly, this problem is not only a growing problem in Nigeria, but also in so many other countries across the world, and it demands urgent action.
Before we break it down,
Nicki Minaj working with Trump admin on plight of Christians in Nigeria. Either she's getting a check, or she was MAGA the whole time, or she's genuinely thinks that she's doing something good, which, by the way, is why y'all need to have people around you that know more than you. And by y'all, I don't just mean celebrities. Everybody. Everybody should have people around them that they can consult with, that think differently than you, that hold you in a place of values. Just so you understand what's happening here with the plight of Christians in Nigeria, there is a plight of Christians in Nigeria. However, the U.S., what does that have to do with the United States? The United States is using this as a ploy, as a proxy, to find their way into Nigeria so that they can then find their way into the Sahel states of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, who, as you know, are coming together to begin a process of Pan-Africanism on the continent. They are taking back their resources from France. They are saying we are going to build our own infrastructures. This undermines the global empire's goal, and so they have to try and shut it down. When do we stop allowing ourselves to be used?
Minaj was chastised by Amanda Seales.
There are consequences to aligning yourself with Donald Trump and his policies and his evil ways. There's consequences. What we know is that as he turns his attention to Nigeria, understanding his history, there will absolutely be exploitation, theft of resources. Somebody that he knows wants something from Nigeria. It could be a business partner. It could be a friend. It could be a said corporation. It could even be his family members. But they will invade Nigeria and exploit the people for their own benefit. And they will throw Nicki Minaj to the wolves because they could care less. They couldn't care less about that system. The unfortunate part about all of this is that there will forever be a stain associated with this moment that this sister will have to walk with. She will 100% see bloodshed because innocent Nigerians will be harmed and even likely killed as a result of whatever is to come. And she will have that on her hands. And it is pretty sad to watch because what we know is that Trump, often uses black people and black culture to harm black people here and abroad. And it is happening in real time. And that sister is going to carry this moment with her forever.
Tamika D. Mallory would weigh in.
Now, Nicki Minaj aligning with the Trump administration should not really surprise anyone. I mean, Nicki has been Kanye West in a pink wig on Twitter for a very long time. And the one thing that I will give Nicki in this conversation is I believe that she believes that this thing is happening, and she believes that she is standing up for people who are being persecuted. Now, I can then take a step back from that empathy space and go, you are severely misinformed as to the nuance of what is happening in Nigeria, number one, because what is happening in Nigeria is a series of conflicts in which people are, in many ways, whether it's terrorist groups or different community groups, are having these interpersonal conflicts. And some of them do align themselves with the Christian church, but also those same groups are also having conflicts with other groups of Muslims where there have been unalivings. And so it is reductionist to just say it's a targeted Christian attack, while at the same time you can say that there are Christians who are being attacked.
Just Wayne Creative on TikTok had a good breakdown.
There's something about a millionaire non-U.S. citizen who came here as an undocumented immigrant, supporting the most undocumented immigrant deporting president who literally built a secret police to target people just like her, plus all of the people with weird cases around her that never really sat right with me. And it's especially interesting coming out of the very public confrontation she just had with Cardi B, where they were calling each other's kids slow and ugly and all of that. Like, I genuinely don't care about Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj. Yes, they have their personal issues. But with this development, I've actually come to the realization that I have to pick a side. Cardi B is known to be a low-key politics and history person, and needless to say, that awareness puts her on the opposite side of Nicki Minaj when it comes to politics. And at a time in American politics, when it's literal fascists versus everybody else, it's crazy to think that supporting Nicki Minaj is supporting fascism. But Nicki Minaj clearly supports fascism, and in turn puts you in that position by supporting her.
Ditto with Dami. Now, the story goes as follows. Alex Bruzowitz, seen here, helped facilitate the rapper's appearance at the UN. Bruzowitz is credited with booking Trump during the election cycle on shows such as Theo Vaughn, Joe Rogan, Logan Paul. I'm sure Aiden Ross is in there too, along with many others. He's a senior figure at the president's PAC. Time would claim he also facilitated Trump being with comedian Shane Gillis and Philadelphia Eagles star running back Saquon Barkley. Though considering what we have seen from him in years past, he may be tight with the Kushners. Rolling Stone's Andre G. wrote, Trump has asserted that Christians have been persecuted and murdered by radical Islamists and has threatened to invade Nigeria guns a-blazing to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. Ted Cruz, the Texas senator, introduced a bill on September 11th against persecution of Nigerian Christians, but the nonpartisan U.S.-based organization Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project and Council on Foreign Relations have repeatedly stated the notion of Christians being disproportionately attacked is a dangerous reduction of the nature of violence in the country that is not backed by data. Nigerian citizens support their sentiment. Senior Special Assistant to the President of Nigeria, Gimba Kakanda, wrote in an Al Jazeera piece, this misinformation aimed at maligning Nigeria as much as undermining the gravity of the situation in Gaza is linked to Nigeria's position at the 2025 United Nations General Assembly. By reaffirming support for a two-state solution to the Palestinian conflict, Nigeria challenged powerful interests invested in one-sided narratives. Another paragraph would read, this broader context is crucial to dismantling the oversimplified narrative of one-sided persecution. Every region of Nigeria has both Christians and Muslims living side by side, and conflicts typically unfold along community or regional lines rather than strictly religious ones. Even during severe unrest, such as the Nigerian Civil War, the violence did not amount to an organized genocide of one faith by the other, but was rooted in political and socio-economic grievances. From G once more, still, Minaj, like many Trump conservatives, is projecting a misconception that Christians in particular are being assailed in Nigeria. This is about standing up in the face of injustice, she said during her United Nations speech. It's about what I've always stood for my entire career. Okay. And I will continue to stand for that for the rest of my life. I will care if anyone anywhere is being persecuted for their beliefs. I'm sure you will. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.